A lot of you guys have been wanting to move to Texas, but you heard how big it is and you're worried it may not be walkable. Well, we're here to tell you it is.
That's right, we're pounding the pavement today on this cold fall day so you don't have to. But we're gonna show you all the different spots with walkable living, what it's like to live there, prices, so you get a good idea of what we do have to offer.
And along the way, we're gonna tell you some tales of tornadoes and maybe solve a murder mystery. Let's go. We're gonna start this video off with a murder mystery. So where we just were is called Clearfork. It's a giant shopping hub, tons of things to do. And it's right off of Hewlin Street.
Yeah, Clearfork is like high-end shopping, restaurants, everybody loves going there. But you can't live there, right?
Right,
so
there's nowhere to build nearby. It's all built out.
So you've got Clearfork, the Trinity River, and then Hewlin, which has grocery stores, they've got shopping here, and then we're really close to TCU as well. And so right off of Hewlin is Stonegate, which it doesn't look like much here.
Right, so this is Stonegate. It used to be a big estate, had a manor on this hilltop where this big dirt lot is right now, and it's the only place left that has enough square footage for them to put down new construction. But why did it go away in the first place? Well, it used to be this giant 10,000 plus square foot mansion where it had been sold way back in the day. It became a restaurant, it was a wedding venue, and before that, it was built by an oil tycoon named Cullen Davis.
Yeah, and let's just set the scene here. 10,000 square foot house, gets separated. Him and his wife separate after they finished building the house, probably because they were building a 10,000 square foot house.
Right, that's stressful.
Yeah, and so anyways, they thought it'd be a good idea to live together. And then she gets a new boyfriend. So we've got mother, daughter, boyfriend living in the same house as a very rich oil baron. And
he's paying out the nose in alimony at this point.
Judges said, hey, you gotta pay $23,000 a month. What do you think happens next? If you guessed hire a hitman, you would be correct.
Because that's exactly what he allegedly did. So this guy apparently breaks in the middle of the night, dressed in black, and he murders the stepdaughter that the wife brought into the marriage and the boy toy that she invited to live with the husband that she separated from.
And they didn't quite get the job done with the wife.
Right, so the wife survives, her friend who was with her at the time survived, but you know, Mr. Davis is acquitted of all charges, so he obviously didn't do it.
I'm sure somebody else hired a hitman for some other reason.
Right,
so, But anyways, they knocked down the house to build these bad boys behind us.
So these guys right here are Village Homes' new townhomes that are going in right up the hilltop where the mansion used to sit. And these things are nice.
Yeah, we're gonna take you out, show you why you would want to buy one of these.
Yeah.
All right.
We're not going to show you the whole unit because right now it's in framing. It's just a bunch of wood. But these are 3-story tall units by Village Homes, and they're putting in a lot of good features like Advantech flooring, so it's not going to squeak and creak on your second and third floor. Zip systems, so you're getting good insulation from heat and moisture. And on top of that, you get a nice third floor entertainment space, a big one too. But if the inside isn't enough, you also get a really nice sized balcony with a view. So right now you can see we got TCU in the background, you got Dickies Arena, and you got downtown, which is a little bit far away. So if you're looking for something closer, we're gonna show you that here in just a second. But right now you can buy one of these for $1.5 million in a place where they don't even sell new construction.
We're in Arlington Heights. This is on the west side of downtown, and it is fairly walkable. As we go through this video, we're gonna get more and more walkable. It's a weird line to say. Anyways, this neighborhood is pretty cool. There's a lot of older homes here. There's also been a lot of homes that have been knocked down, and you'll see a lot of townhomes going up like these over here to my right. And for that reason, you're gonna see a wide range of prices. But as far as walkability goes, to the north side, you've got Camp Bowie, which has a bunch of shops and restaurants. To the south, you've got Hewlin. There's a shopping center there with World Market. There's a Mexican restaurant, a bunch of other shopping. And then over behind us, we'll show you in a minute, we got downtown Dickies Arena. But as far as the houses here goes, you're gonna be able to get into this neighborhood for probably in the low 3s for something smaller. And it's gonna go up to usually in the 500s. Most of these homes are not that big. If there are bigger homes, they've either been remodeled or they've been knocked down and something new has been built. And those homes can get quite pricey. You're talking upwards of, you know, 700,000, 800,000, 900,000 if you want something that's closer to like 3,000 square feet, because more than likely it's going to be newer. But yeah, as you can see over my right shoulder, there is the Omni in downtown, so we're fairly close to that. And just over this hill is Dickey's Arena. So that's got a ton of events like concerts, and college basketball will come there. Went and saw Joe Rogan there, that was a good show. But anyways, this is a really cool spot, but we're gonna take you to somewhere similar that I would say is a little bit more walkable. It's a different feel. It's over towards the medical district, and it's actually the oldest bungalow neighborhood in North Texas.
I love this area. Now, this is Fairmont, a historical area on the south side of Fort Worth's downtown. And as you can see right behind me, it's right next to Magnolia. That is a huge economic street with tons of things to do. But right now, we're gonna talk about the residential section. We got tons of little historical bungalows here. Some of these are over 100 years old and they still keep their character. These old shiplap buildings, just they hold together like nothing that we put together nowadays. And they have this architectural features and flair to them that you really just can't get nowadays. I really love it, and it's very akin to where my house is up in Northside, so I've got a bit of a place in my heart for this place. But aside from that, it's a really quiet area, tons of greenery, really mature trees. Like I said, you're getting some small houses with a lot of bang for your buck. So if you don't need a lot to maintain, this is definitely the place to check out. Welcome to Fort Worth's little slice of Austin, Texas. You've got mom and pops and curios on either side of the street here. And where is here? This is the Magnolia District, right off of Magnolia Street here on the south side of downtown. Tons of things to do, and if this isn't quite your scene, we're going to be talking about downtown here in just a little bit. But Magnolia is famous for its cafes, its pop-ups, these little one-off shops where you're going to find things here that you won't find anywhere else, not just in Texas, but world. It's a great experience, and the type of person that moves here is definitely the young professional and the active lifestyle, because it's a great walkable area and it's right up the street from some major names in healthcare. We've got Texas Health, we've got Baylor Scott and White, we've got Texas Methodist. So if that's something that's interesting to you, or if that's relevant to your profession, this is a great place for those types of medical professionals, doctors, physicians, nurses. If nothing else, just the errant weirdo who may just be Fort Worth adjacent and looking for a little bit more of that Austin flair.
All right, so we're rolling out of Magnolia with the sun, the winter sun. It's the best. It just sits low all the time. But yeah, so as far as Magnolia goes, there are also, like I know Jack mentioned like the young professionals, there's also, I would say, young families and also some retirees that live there. The young families tend to move out, from what I've noticed, you know, before their kids, or when their kids go to elementary school, because the school district here in Fort Worth is not great, and there's a few areas that it is, but that's not one of them. So anyways, that's one thing to keep in mind. But as far as prices go,
so for those bungalows back there, most of them are going to float between $400,000 and $600,000. There's some outliers, some all the way down to $250,000, a couple of them over $1 million, but the bulk of it's going to be around that $500,000 mark. Now, I will say there's a wide range of housing types in there, because these are 100-year-old homes. Some of them look like the day they were built. Some of them need some upkeep. So you're kind of getting what you pay for, but if you love a project, it's also a great place to look.
Yeah, and if you get something that's like within a block or two of Magnolia, it's going to be a little bit more expensive just because of the location, you know, real estate, location. And yeah, apart from that, if you are looking on the Dallas side and you want something similar to this, we've done a video on this as well. We'll link to that, but Bishop Arts is probably going to be the most comparable. And because they also have like that neighborhood just north of there is kind of like, it's older homes as well. Yeah. And then it's like just a bunch of these little shops and restaurants. I think Bishop Arts is a little bit nicer. Like, you don't have, the only downside of Magnolia is there's a lot of traffic that goes down Magnolia.
That's true. Bishop Arts, not so much. It's mostly walking. Yeah,
exactly. So like that feels a little bit better. But I mean, we've had clients that have moved from the Bishop Arts area over here to Fort Worth, because I think, I don't know, the people are different here in Fort Worth. It's everybody says that we're nicer over here. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But we're gonna head down to downtown now, show you a completely different vibe, and actually take you into a condo there in one of the most iconic towers. And not only that, after that, we're gonna take you to what I would consider, would you as well, the most walkable area in Fort Worth?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, here we go. So another very walkable place is here in downtown Fort Worth. And a lot of times people think of downtowns as being unsafe or that sort of thing. Not here in Fort Worth. There's a lot that's been put into the safety lately. And I will say there's also not a ton of options when it comes to residential living. We have the tower, which is about a block behind me, which we're gonna go tour here in just a little bit, show you one of those condos, the amenities that it has to offer. And also it's got a ton of shopping around it. Now, got an interesting story about that building after this, but you also have the Omni more towards the south side of downtown. And just south of that, you have the TMP building, which we've covered in another video, which is gonna put you really close to South Main and a lot of the new development that's happened there. But here in downtown proper, I would say it's a little bit different of a vibe. There's a lot more business here. There is a lot of shops, a lot of restaurants, but as far as like bars and nightlife, there's not as many anymore. We had there was a comedy club here that moved to South Main. The Riata is one of the staples. They moved over actually underneath the tower, and there's a few other places, but a lot of what you're gonna see here is people going to the opera, people taking in plays, people going to restaurants, hanging out. And so it's a little bit different of a vibe here than in some other places here in Fort Worth. And so anyways, great place overall, but I think Fort Worth is really going through kind of a transition right now. And we're here in Sundance Square. I don't know, you can see the big Christmas tree that they put up every year. This is actually bigger than the one in New York. They do say everything's bigger in Texas, so maybe that's the case. But just behind me here on the south side, you've got the convention center here in the background. That's undergoing a lot of renovation right now. And what's interesting is about 33% of Fort Worth is what they would call underdeveloped. So you've got A&M building a law school on the south side. And if you look at a map, there's just a ton of parking lots along the east side. All of those have plans to be developed, along with a lot of other stuff going towards the stockyards. But there is a shift going on here in the downtown area for sure. So what this is gonna look like over the next few years, not sure, but there's a lot of growth coming. Now we're on the north side of Sundance Square, and this building off to the right is an event venue. So a lot of people have a wedding reception there. Right now it's decorated like Easter threw up on Christmas. No idea what that's all about. But further down this way, actually we'll spin around here so you can see it, there's a courthouse, and on the other side of that, they have plans for a huge park. So downtown Fort Worth doesn't really have a whole lot of park area, so that's gonna be huge coming in. And then we're gonna make our way to the tower next. So the one crazy thing about the tower, it was actually a bank building. It was built in the 70s, got hit by an F3 tornado in the early 2000s, or actually in the year 2000. And a lot of people thought they were just gonna demolish it, and they ended up renovating it into condos. So it's one of the big residential spots here in downtown. You also have the Omni, and then there are a few other little spots right now. But anyways, we're gonna head over, show you the amenities, the views. It's absolutely amazing. Let's check it out.
What does 2,000 square footage of living space look like at about 300 feet in the air? Well, the first thing you're gonna see, you got a dining room here off to your left. You got a bed and bath over here to your right. But as soon as you walk this way, you're immediately greeted with this really nice kitchen. It's still got that 2000s aesthetic to it, but the real draw here isn't the kitchen, it's the view from the kitchen. And if we spin the camera around here, dining room, you're in the living room right now, and you can see all of downtown. I mean, not just all of downtown, you can see basically all of Fort Worth. I don't even know how far out that road goes, but that can't be, you know, anything shorter than the view of the boundary of Fort Worth. So right now we're facing the south part of downtown. You can see we got the event center, the train station, the new development for A&M that's going on down there. So they're putting in a lot of new big high rises here in the future. But right now you've got an unobstructed view of all of the south side of Fort Worth, and it goes on for miles. There's no way you can't see the edge of the city from here. Basically everything is in view. Guys, I know you think that might be it, but there's definitely more here. So that's just the beginning of it. That's basically half of the unit. The other half is over here in the living quarters. So as we head this way, you've got a closet here right across from your office. Now this actually has window access to the balcony that we're gonna show you here in the master. Yes, there is a second balcony. You've got a full bath right out here outside of the master bedroom. As we walk here, just beyond these plantation shutters, you have another door that opens up to a second balcony for this unit. And at 28 stories high, it really is a view. It's great in the living room. It's even better in the bedroom. But over here, you got 2 closets, his, hers, both huge, so you don't have to worry about running out of shoe storage. Some built-ins here and here, and then you got the master bath over here. I will say it takes a little bit to update some of these units, so you're getting a good taste of the 2000s here. Lots of beige, lots of wood, but you do get some really nice luxury touches. It's marble tiling and everything, built-in tub, standing shower, water closet over here, and a good-sized vanity.
In addition to the great location of downtown, everything to do here, the rooms themselves, this is the amenity area. Like right behind me, you've got a nice little pet relief area, and it's also got a cute little fire hydrant if your puppy needs to relieve themselves. A couple grills out here. You've got a little putting green. Obviously awesome views here from the 5th floor. You've got a pool, hot tub, hangout space. Inside they've got a big room here. So if you want to have a little get together, they've got a pool table and all that kind of stuff, or if you just want to hang out, get some work done. Not only that, but they've also got 2 rooms here that are dedicated that the tower maintains if you want to rent them out, like if you've got somebody coming to stay for a week or something like that. So that's also really cool. But if you want to see a real pool and a real hangout spot, this next area that we're going to, which is more walkable, I would say probably the most walkable place with the most variety of things, is Montgomery Plaza in West 7th. We're going to take you there next. All right, we are headed to Montgomery Plaza, even though I've taken a few wrong turns. I'm trying to avoid the highway now. But yeah, so rolling out like the comparable, I guess we'll talk a little bit about prices, HOA, alternatives in downtown. But first, I felt like we should mention the counterpart in Dallas. Like if you were looking in downtown Dallas, I feel like it's a little bit different over there. To me, it doesn't feel as safe. There's like, I don't know, it always seems like there's a lot more homeless people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're by the Highland Park area, or what'd you say, Staten Island?
Yeah, Staten Island's nice. And then the American Airlines Center, that kind of area, seems like it's, I don't know, it seems so busy that it's safer. I don't know why busy just feels safer.
Yeah.
But there's definitely been some times in Dallas where I'm walking down streets I'm not familiar with, and I'm like, I don't know. But I will say there are a lot more options as far as condos go and things like that in Dallas. So there's going to be a lot more options there. It's just a different feel. But as far as prices go here and HOAs, if you want to be in downtown Fort Worth, what does that look like?
Well, the unit we just looked at was $750,000 listed, and the HOA on that one, I believe, was just under $1,000 a month. And that ranges depending on how high up in the tower you go. It's usually, the rule of thumb is the higher the floor, the higher the price. But I know HOA in there ranges from about $450 upwards to I think $1,500 in some cases if you got like the penthouse. And then prices are going to kind of reflect that as well. But I think they have some units. Most of the units are going to be in like the 4 to 5 range.
Yeah, and prices. So the one we looked at today was $750,000, but you can get into the tower, I think in the 3s, definitely in the low 4s. But I think in the 3s you're looking at like 900 square feet. And then you've also got like the TMP building, which is going to be, I think those prices are a little bit lower, but you're not central. But that might be a good investment down the road once all the new stuff goes in, if you're going to be holding it for a good while. But yeah, and then the one thing, I don't know if I mentioned or not, when we were in downtown in Sundance Square, the Stockyards is literally like 5 minutes up the road, which I didn't know this, but apparently this past year, there were more people that visited the Stockyards than the Eiffel Tower. Now, I don't know if that's just because Texas is friendlier than France, but anyways, a little fun fact for you. But we're gonna head over to Montgomery Plaza, West 7th, check all that out right now.
When you want walkable in Fort Worth, you come here. This is the West 7th area, right next to the business district, right next to downtown, and honestly, right next to everything else. This is about as walkable as it gets in Fort Worth. As a matter of fact, this was the first place I was introduced to whenever I came to Fort Worth. I came here for a girl, you know, I made that dumb mistake, and then she decided the best way to introduce me to Fort Worth downtown was to come to Montgomery Plaza, right in the heart of West 7th Street. Everything's around us. We got Tom Thumb, we got Target, we got LA Fitness, we got Social House. warehouse. There's Starbucks, of course. There's Starbucks everywhere, but payways, you know, Red Door, game rooms, anything you can think of, you can find here. And that's why so many people flock to this area, especially whenever they're coming in from out of state, because it's a really nice social hub where you can get to know the locals and the culture itself while still having a lot of familiar places to go check out. This is actually, Montgomery Plaza is an old retail warehouse for a mail order retail store called Montgomery Ward. If you recognize that name, you might be a true Fort Worthian. But they kept that retail spirit, and they are alive and flourishing with tons of things to do. And on top of that, it's a really cool place to live. Bunch of amenities and really cool condos that we're going to check out here in just a minute. So before we go show you guys these condos, right over my shoulder here is actually the Trinity Park, less than a block away. This is one of the big green spaces here in Fort Worth. It's connected to the Trinity Trails, a really famous trail here in the DFW area that spans from one side of the Metroplex all the way to the other. But on top of that, Trinity Park is probably the biggest part of it. And I say that not lightly at all. It spans a good portion of the downtown area, and not only is it just a really pretty area, it's a nice big open space where they host events year-round. Everything from Mayfest to jogs and 5Ks, you name it, they do it. And honestly, it's a beautiful venue for it to happen in. But right now, we're actually about to go walk into one of these condos, so we're gonna see you guys in just a minute.
We are in Montgomery Plaza now, and just coming down the hallway, one thing, this is weird, but like a lot of times you come into places like this and the hallways are just like very bland and they're just concrete. These are actually well decorated. Everybody spends a little time decorating their little shelves outside their door, which is cool. But this is a typical unit that you're gonna find here. This is just under 1,300 square feet. You've got a bedroom with an ensuite bathroom here, so this is gonna be your guest quarters. And then coming down the hallway here, they've actually done a lot of built-ins here, which is not normal. Normally this is just a very wide hallway, but they wanted some extra storage. And then you're gonna notice a little window here. If you jump, you can actually see the people in the bathroom, which is always fun if you're sneaking in on somebody. I don't know. Anyways, but this is gonna be our master right over here. We'll take a peek real quick. So the master is nothing huge. This is probably a 12 by 12 room. And then this is your master bathroom. You got a stand-up shower, a soaking tub, a very interesting choice here with the boxes on the mirror. I don't know. There's a choice. And then a walk-in closet, which is nice. So you do have everything you need here. And like the theme of this is it's not very big, right? You're not gonna wanna spend a ton of time in here, which is why they have a ton of amenities, which we'll show you here in just a minute. But here we've got our kitchen. This has got everything you need. Nice long island here. You've got some nice lighted up cabinetry. Obviously, you can see everything else here in the shot. But one thing I will mention, you see these little dots here on the countertop. Typically, these have a second level. This one would have been glass, and I'm guessing they got a little crazy in here, had a little too much fun, maybe broke it, I don't know, but it's gone. And then here you've got a desk if you need to do a little work from home. And then this is your living space. It's not huge, right? You're not gonna get a sectional in here. You might get a couch and maybe a couple chairs, something else. But it's got a very nice view here. So we're on the west tower. This overlooks the west side of Fort Worth. On this side of the tower, there's also some that looks down into the middle. And then if you want a view of downtown, you're gonna be looking at the east side. So one of the things you gotta decide if you wanna live here is, do you want the sun in the morning or in the afternoon? So that being said, we are gonna check out, and this is just one unit. This is the size you're gonna see in a lot of these units, but they do have bigger units. Usually those are gonna be on the east tower and on the higher floors. But anyways, we're gonna go check out those amenities that Montgomery Plaza has to offer.
When you're living that condo life, you're not here for the living quarters themselves. While they might be nice, what you're really here for is the community and the amenities, and this place is definitely not lacking in either of those. With large gathering spaces like this, we have a rooftop pool out here, fire pits galore, cabanas, grills, you name it, even a putting green back there. Tons of outdoor things to do, because you know Texas gets warm and it's nice to have a watering hole to hang around. But on top of that, there are tons of indoor things for whenever it does get too hot. We've got lounges, theater rooms, and on top of that, this place has you with white glove service. 2 concierge services that'll handle all of your shipping packages whenever they come in or out, as well as greet guests and help direct them to where they need to be. This is a great place to hang out with people, host guests, or even business partners if that's your interest. And honestly, if nothing else, it's a really cool place to live.
All right, so as we're rolling out Montgomery Plaza, what does it cost to live there? What does the HOA look like? Well, we'll tell you here, but I do want to mention, if you are interested in any of these areas or any others, there is a search link in our description if you want to set up a search. We'll send you all these type of properties, and also call us if you're ready to go. But prices.
So for Montgomery Plaza, you're looking to spend at least in the low threes, and in most cases up towards like the $400,000 range. There's a couple of units that'll run you about $800,000 to $900,000, and then the top floor stuff will run you about 1.2. The real kicker is going to be in your HOA. So they've done a lot of assessments recently because it's an older building, and they've got a lot of amenities and service. So you're looking to pay about $450 a month for your HOA for the more nominal units. For the larger units, you may be paying upwards to about $975 a month.
Yeah, and the rising of the HOA dues has kind of kept prices steady over the years. So that's one thing. That's one thing you always want to have a knowledgeable agent about and ask about when you're looking at into condos, like how healthy is that HOA. But one thing we did not mention, I don't think we mentioned, was Linwood. So like right behind Montgomery Plaza is Linwood. There's a park there. There's a bunch of homes that really got knocked down to build townhomes. And you could live there and just be a few blocks away. There's a lot of folks that are young professionals there. There's people that come in town for TCU games that want to have a place. So that's also a great option. So if you are looking for that walkable neighborhood, or if you're like, you know what, I like having activities, I like being able to walk to places and things like that, but I also have a family, I want a yard, all that kind of stuff, then you're probably going to be looking for more of a golf cart community, or what we would call a master plan community. So if that's you, we've got a playlist that's going to pop up here if you want to see where the best ones are here in the Dallas area. Oh, shoot, one other place we didn't mention, Staten Island. So if you want to be on the Dallas side of the Metroplex, gosh, we should have talked about that a little quicker, but if you want to be on the Dallas side of the Metroplex and you want something similar to that West 7th area, Staten Island is going to be probably the most similar thing. You've got McKinney Avenue, which is where a lot of the bars and restaurants are that you can walk to. It's a great spot. There's a huge park there. We've got another video on all of these places that we've talked about in Dallas as far as like walkable neighborhoods, because I know we're in Fort Worth today, but we have been over in Dallas, and you can see more of that stuff. So we'll link to that, and also a playlist if you want to see those suburbs with the golf cart type communities. As always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm, call town.